Thank you for participating in your electric cooperative. Before we get started, I'd like to make a request. If you're sitting at the end of a row and if there are open seats next to you, if you wouldn't mind considering moving in a few seats, just so others, as they're straggling in, have an easy place to sit. Since there's no middle row down here, it makes it a little harder to seat people. So if you'd think about that. So and now a few introductions, starting with your board of directors, Larry Vandemark, Roger Rank, Ann Selhorst, Secretary-Treasurer Kathy Brake, President Jim Wiekert, Attorney Adam Johnson, Vice President Randy Heinel, Steve Bauer, and Gary Knapke. Let's hear from them, yes. And I don't see any employees in the auditorium yet. And our special guest today is Bill Roberts, Chief Financial Officer of Buckeye Power Supply Cooperative, our power supplier. He'll be speaking here in a little bit. And I am Matt Berry, your CEO. Welcome. And now your board president, Jim Wiekert.
Well, thank you, Matt, and good evening. I call to order this 89th annual meeting of Midwest Electric. So I'll note over 100 members are present in person by ballot. Therefore, we do have a quorum. At this time, I'd like to invite fellow director Roger Rank to give the invocation.
Will you bow your heads with me? Our dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you once again for this day. It's a beautiful day outside, dear Lord, and you have created all of that for us. We thank you and we praise you, and we pray that we would always keep that in our minds, that you are our Lord, you are our God, and you are the one that we look to when we are in need. We pray that it would be with all of our employees. We have great employees working with this co-op, dear Lord. We have great leadership within this co-op, and I thank you for that. I pray you would just keep them all safe. We thank you for this meeting we are about to undergo. We just pray for the direction from the members, the things that you guys want to know, the things you guys want to learn about, and we just pray that we would be able to give those things to you with our speakers. Give us a good day, dear Lord, and we give you the praise for all that you do for us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Roger. I'd ask you to please stand and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is right here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Thank you. The minutes of the 2025 meeting were distributed in your handout bag, and we would have a motion required. Are there any objections or corrections to these minutes? If not, may we have a motion to approve the minutes as written? We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. Thank you. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Next agenda item will be my president's report. So hello and good evening, fellow members of our cooperative. We're very pleased to see you all here, and thank you for spending your evening with us and attending our annual meeting of members here at Midwest. I'm your board president, Jim Wiekert, and it's our hope that you enjoy good company tonight, good supper, and good conversation with fellow Midwest Electric members. We also welcome those members who are viewing this meeting online. 2025 was a very strong year for our cooperative. Indeed, it was a record-breaking year in terms of margins. Those margins will move from the income statement to the balance sheet, where they add to the equity ownership of the cooperative, and eventually they are all paid back to the members. We continue to add new accounts, and we now have 11,250 consumer members. Our membership continues to grow. Our total utility plant grew to $76 million, a $2 million increase from 2024, and investments in SCADA and distribution automation continued in 2025 and will continue this year. This technology improves our system reliability and helps us restore power outages more quickly. In 2025, we paid back to our members $1.6 million in patronage capital. Electric cooperatives return patronage capital, also called equity, when financial conditions allow. And I'm very gratified to share with you that since 1955, Midwest Electric has returned more than $45 million in patronage capital to our members. Compared to other electric cooperatives, our co-op is aggressive at returning that patronage to our members. Our co-op maintains 1,500 miles of electric distribution lines. So last year, we conducted tree trimming along 460 miles of line in the Sharpsburg, St. Henry, Coldwater, Chickasaw, Lake, and Moulton areas. This right-of-way clearing is performed annually to help reduce tree-related power outages, as trees and branches are a primary cause of power outage. 4,800 poles were tested and treated in the Amanda substation and Jonestown delivery point area, and all rejected poles are replaced with new poles, thus enhancing power reliability. At last year's annual meeting, I mentioned that your board and management would be developing a new 3-year strategic plan. That process was completed in the second half of 2025, and it was completed as a collaborative effort with some emphasis areas being key staff succession planning and maintaining Midwest high-level service to our members. This strategic plan, which extends to the end of 2028, provides a deliberate roadmap of many of the key cooperative areas of focus for this current 3-year period. With this effort and other board actions, we strive to make every decision such that our members' interests are foremost in our minds. This philosophy of members first extends to our capable CEO and employees who on a day-to-day basis do a super job. I want to thank them for all they do serving our members' need year-round. At Midwest Electric, we have an active and engaged political action program called America's Electric Cooperatives Political Action Committee. Right now, federal energy policy is mostly aligned with what we need to provide reliable and affordable electricity. But politics and public policy can and does change over time. If you are a member of our Political Action Committee, on behalf of our board of directors and the members, we can't thank you enough. If you are not yet a member of this important group, I encourage you to join to help support your interest in Columbus and Washington, D.C. Contact our office for more information on that. Really encourage that if you're not involved in that. So at this time, I would ask Larry Vandemark, one of our board members, to step forward. Larry's 3-year term was up for election this year, and he chose not to run, so his time serving the members officially ends tonight. I want to recognize Larry's 21 years on the board. Larry also served many years as our board president, our board vice president, and Larry brought a lot to the board table that will be definitely missed. Larry, on behalf of the board and the members, I want to thank you for serving our members in co-op. The great part about being on the board is you establish relationships with good people across our co-op service area. I would like to present this plaque to Larry as a gesture of our appreciation, and I'll just read it here. It says, "In recognition of your commitment and dedication to the members, employees, and fellow directors of Midwest Electric, thank you for your work and efforts to exemplify the spirit of cooperation." Larry, would you like to share a few words? Thank
you. Thank you, Jim, and thank you, board here. It's been a privilege and a pleasure to serve as on the board. You know, when someone asked me I'd be a good board member if I'd run for the board here, I said, well, sure, sounds interesting. I was one of those members out there that as long as my light switch came on, I was okay. I knew it was a co-op, but I didn't know much about it. It was a learning experience. And, you know, a lot of times, it caught me at a time, but, you know, you've all been in these shoes where you can't say no. This is one time that me not saying no to running for the board was a great decision. You know, through the 21 years, we've seen a lot of innovation come. We've seen our co-op go from now to maybe up to maybe one in the top 14% of the co-ops in the nation. That's something to be very, very proud of. And it's with our employees, you as members supporting us, and the directors doing that brought us to this point. I do want to encourage you to keep being involved. You know, as through these years, we've seen the political things. It's like an ocean wave. It comes and goes on that. But without you being involved in your co-op and your support, we're nothing. We have to fight for what's best for our co-op. And I encourage you to keep that up and support your directors and support your co-op on that. I do want to give a special thanks again to my wife. I don't know where I've lost her again, so I don't know where she's at. There she is. So, you know, for her support throughout the process and all the endeavors that I've been in, I want to give thanks to her. I want to give thanks to you members for supporting me through these years. I want to give thanks to all the directors for everything they've done and what their future holds for them. It's been one of the best boards because we all have one common goal. Number one, to make sure our employees are safe. Number two, to bring reliable and affordable power to you. Not too many boards where everybody has that same common goal. This board does. And I really appreciate what they have. And I will miss it, but I'm not going away either. So life changes, but I will still be involved on that. So again, I want to thank everyone. I thank the Lord for allowing me to serve as your director here. Again, thank you very much.
So next, please join me in welcoming our next speaker, Bill Roberts. He is the Vice President and Chief Financial Officer of our power supplier, Buckeye Power Supply Cooperative.
Thank you, Jim. Good evening. It really is an honor to be here tonight. I would echo what Larry just mentioned. Your electric cooperative is a very well-run organization, and that's from the perspective of somebody who does see a whole bunch of distribution co-ops, both in Ohio and throughout the nation, so you have a lot to be proud of here. So my name is Bill Roberts. I'm the Vice President of Finance and Chief Financial Officer for Ohio's Electric Cooperatives. So Ohio's Electric Cooperatives is both your generation and transmission cooperative, which is Buckeye Power, as well as the statewide trade association, which is Ohio Rural Electric Cooperatives. So thank you for taking a minute to reflect with us on this past year, one that brought meaningful progress across the energy sector, and it also helped lay the foundation for exciting opportunities for Ohio's electric cooperatives, both in 2026 and beyond. So this year, and I'm sure many of you remember or realize this, it also carries a lot of meaning in our country. In 2026, we're going to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So, you know, the values that came out of that document, which liberty, self-governance, and the belief that we're stronger when we work together for a common purpose, those are the same values that are at the heart of electric cooperatives and the 7 principles that guide everything that we do. Just as our nation was built through shared purpose and local leadership, Ohio's electric cooperatives have thrived working together while maintaining strong local independence. Your local board knows your community a whole lot better than us ding-a-lings in Columbus. The independence that they have allows them to be both flexible, innovative, and responsive, always to you, the members that they serve. Now, electric demand in cooperative territories has remained steady for most of the last 15 years or so, but we're seeing a big change in that. And the Ohio Electric Cooperatives are poised for the growth. Because Ohio cooperatives in Ohio own our own generation, we're going to be well positioned to meet that demand with the goal of keeping rates affordable, which Larry mentioned, as well as stable in the future. Financially, we're very strong, thanks in large part to generating assets like the Cardinal plant. These facilities do exactly what they were built to do. They run when they're needed the most. During the coldest and the hottest days during the year, our plants deliver power reliably and affordably because of ongoing investments, system upgrades, and operational excellence. Reliability doesn't just happen by accident. It's the result of careful planning and discipline and commitment. I'd like to take a moment right here now to go off script here a little bit and kind of remind everybody, myself included, that it's decisions of prior boards that have really set the electric cooperatives up in today's environment. And one of the people, so Matt, your CEO, Matt Berry, is on our board today. And before that, it was Gary Knapke sitting at the end. And Gary made a lot of great decisions and was part of the discussions to make sure that we held on to the assets that we had. And today, electric cooperative members, both at Midwest and throughout Ohio, are going to see that benefit today, tomorrow, and well into the future. So I know everybody pays too much for their electric bill, but if you were an IOU customer, your rates would be a whole lot higher. And so we have a lot to be thankful for. And Gary, on behalf of everybody in Ohio, thank you. So, yeah. A few of the topics, let's see here. So what's current today? Data centers, right? So data centers and large growth are being discussed throughout Ohio. Today there's more than a dozen major projects that are being discussed with potentially thousands of megawatts. And that's like multiple Cardinal plants that are possibly going to be in new demand. So that growth brings an opportunity, but also requires thoughtful and responsible planning. Your cooperative boards, both Midwest, Buckeye, and OREC, are taking this responsibility seriously and are asking the right questions. How much new load is going to come online? When's it going to come online? How can we serve in a way that promotes economic development while at the same time protecting existing members? So when it comes to asking the right questions, the one that we hear the most often is how can we protect cooperative members from the higher costs brought by new data centers? And so the first thing to point out is, like I just mentioned, we own our own assets. So that's a big step in the right directions. The other thing that's true is the electric power grid is more expensive. And it's more expensive for a whole variety of different reasons. But we spend significant time trying to influence the rules on the cost allocation, on who should pay, whether it's data centers or members or who. And we do that to help ensure that the data centers do actually end up paying their costs and not being subsidized by others. As these discussions continue, your cooperative and our statewide communications team will keep you as informed as quickly and clearly as possible. One of the other things Larry mentioned was safety. Safety is our top priority. Nationally, we're recognized for having, it's called the COLT training facility, the Central Ohio Lineman Training Center. It continues to train line workers and prepares them to be the most skilled and respected line workers across the country. These are the same people you see on a daily basis keeping your lights on safely in your community. We're also investing in the future of the co-op network by educating the next generation of co-op leaders through year-round training of the cooperative staff, and trying to instill and inspire school-age students with programs like the Youth Tour, Farm Science Review, and Explore Ag. Our goal is to help the next generation understand the cooperative difference and the power of working together. There's no doubt that this is a dynamic and complex time for the energy industry, but it's also an exciting one. And together, guided with the same cooperative principles and values that have served us so well for past generations, we're well prepared for what lies ahead. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being involved in your electric cooperative.
Thank you, Bill, for the power supply update. I'm sure our members will have some questions about power supply when it comes to the Q&A session. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending and for being an active participant in your electric cooperative. Tonight, I plan to focus on affordability, since it's a big topic in many ways these days. Specifically, I want to talk about electric rates and what we do to manage costs. Electric cooperatives like Midwest Electric are owned by the people we serve, not by private investors or shareholders. Because of our local ownership, we can anticipate challenges, appreciate what's important to the people we serve, and partner closely with our local communities. Decisions are not driven by the short term. Instead, decisions are driven by what will work best for the long-term interests of the communities that we serve. And many people in our community are facing challenging times, and no one wants to see rising electric bills. So we're proud that our electric rates are lower than AEP and AES's standard rates, and among the lowest of Ohio's 24 electric distribution cooperatives. We recognize our responsibility to serve you by working to keep bills as low as possible. So it's our job to manage the costs that we can control before we ever ask members to pay more for their energy. Our fundamental responsibility to you is to deliver reliable power to your home while keeping bills as low as possible. We are committed to increasing efficiency, reducing costs, and providing reliable, affordable service every day. And I'm pleased to share that our latest financial forecast shows that no electric distribution rate increase is expected for at least the next few years, possibly until the year 2030 or later. We do a 10-year financial forecast every year, looking at future costs and revenues to determine when our revenue will fall short of what's needed to maintain power reliability investments, and therefore when a rate increase would be needed. Now, it's a forecast, not a guarantee, but barring any unforeseen major expenses, we should be able to hold off any electric rate increases for the next 5 years. Our last rate increase was the fall of 2023. Prior to that, it was 2010. So if we don't have another rate increase until 2030, that would mean just 3 rate increases over a span of 20 years. Now, according to Buckeye Power's most recent rate comparisons, Midwest Electric's rates are the 6th lowest among Ohio's 24 electric distribution cooperatives, and we are 7% lower than the statewide electric cooperative residential rate. And this is because primarily the success of our peak load management and other value-added member programs. For the average family using 1,500 kilowatt hours per month, our electric bill is $47 lower per month than the standard rate for AES or DP&L, and $71 lower than the standard rate for AEP, this according to the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio. Now, it didn't always used to be this way. Only in recent years have our electric rates been lower than AES and AEP. So what happened? It's not that our rates have gone down, it's that their rates have skyrocketed up. And Bill alluded to this a little bit, and I want to expound on it a little. This is because AES and AEP no longer generate their own power, but instead rely solely on the wholesale power markets. And power market prices are high and likely going even higher. And it's basic economics, supply and demand. The supply of electricity is, relatively speaking, flat, while demand continues to rise pretty significantly. And so this has caused power market prices to rise. But now this has not negatively affected Buckeye Power or Ohio's electric cooperatives because, as Bill mentioned, we still own all of our power supply, and we're therefore less impacted by the power market price swings. The generation and transmission of electricity accounts for 65% of our costs. So in other words, of every dollar you send us, 65 cents goes to Buckeye Power to pay for generation and the high voltage transmission. The remaining 35 cents that you send from each dollar is for our local distribution costs. So including transmission and generation, our bill that we pay Buckeye Power each month, it averages out to about 8.5 to 9 cents per kilowatt hour. And the standard AES and AEP costs for generation and transmission range from 11 to 14 cents per kilowatt hour. And the difference, as Bill mentioned, and referencing Gary and the decisions that past Buckeye boards have made, the difference is due to strategy. Buckeye Power's strategy for years has been to own our power supply. Years ago, nobody knew what the future of power generation would be. Nobody could foresee how the power markets would develop and evolve, but owning our power generation was always a hedge against the risk of an unknown future. In fact, over the next several months, you might notice our electric rates actually decreasing slightly. On your bill each month, there's an item called the power cost adjustment. This amount changes a little bit each month, slightly up or down from one month to the next. It's basically a pass-through of part of our wholesale bill from Buckeye Power. And Buckeye Power's electric rates that they charge us will be lower over the remainder of this year than what was previously expected or budgeted because of the advantages of owning our power generation in today's market. Buckeye is long on capacity. This means we own more power generation than we need to serve all of Ohio's electric cooperative members. And so that excess power generation is sold into the market, and Buckeye has made a significant amount of money from that. And in true cooperative fashion, Buckeye is a cooperative just like we are. Buckeye is returning those excess margins to the local distribution cooperatives in the form of a lower monthly power bill to us, and we're returning it to you in the form of a lower power cost adjustment than it would have been otherwise. So as a result, we expect your power cost adjustment to be a little less than 1 cent per kilowatt hour lower than what was previously budgeted. So for the typical family, average family using 1,500 kilowatt hours a month, your electric bill would be about $12 per month lower than it would have been otherwise, or $96 in savings over the remaining 8 months of the year, or through this program. So power generation strategy is one way that we've managed costs. At the local distribution level, there are a number of things we do to manage costs and keep electricity affordable to you. Our value-added services help us run efficiently and maintain stable rates. Programs such as peak load control, automatic payment options, advanced metering, energy efficiency rebates. Your participation in these programs helps you and it helps your cooperative. We offer rebates on energy-saving upgrades, insulation, geothermal, heat pumps, water heaters, and the like. When your individual homes use electricity more efficiently, the cooperative as a whole is more efficient. And our peak load management is tied in with all of this for your water heater, your heat pump, geothermal, or air conditioner. This helps lower power costs during the highest demand hours of the year when power costs the most. And our load management program saves us estimated $600,000 a year compared to if we didn't have that program. Our Smart Hub online portal, you can track your daily and hourly usage, manage auto pay, make payments, update your account, and the like. These self-service features help keep our office efficient and productive. You can also set high use alerts to get notified by text or email if your usage spikes. And when it comes to payment options, auto pay and paperless billing credits are available. And we also offer all the traditional methods as well, and there's never a fee for our payments. These days, more than 77% of our members pay through one of the automated payment methods, and we're approaching 40% of our members who are completely paperless. And so much of these things that I've mentioned improve our employee productivity and efficiency. We also make productivity and efficiency a goal when it comes to how we analyze and use technology. Midwest Electric today has fewer employees than we had in the 1980s. Now, we of course have grown over those years, but the smart application of technology has helped improve our productivity, along with an emphasis on hiring and training the best employees. So I hope you'll see that affordability is an important goal for us. We take it seriously, and it's central to our short-term and long-term strategies. Value and stability remain the cornerstone of your electric cooperative. And this focus on reliability and affordability is a core principle of electric cooperatives. It ties closely with our commitment to community. We're a local company, which I think simply means that we just care more about the local community. And electric cooperatives also communicate openly with their members, whether it's magazines, meetings, electronic means, or just simply being highly accessible. If you call us during normal work hours, you'll be answered, the phone will be answered by a person, not a computer, nor someone from another country, but a local employee will answer your call during normal work hours. So this transparency means the people that we serve can know what's going on and hold us accountable. So with that, again, I want to thank you for your involvement in your electric cooperative this evening, and at this time, we'd like to open the floor for questions of me, our staff in the room. See, we've got Paul Rogers, our Manager of Engineering and Operations, Kevin Schmidt, our Financial Manager. Questions of us, the board, Mr. Roberts from Buckeye. So yeah, after you ask your question, if you can hand the microphone back just out of courtesy for everybody else here. And
Hi, does Buckeye Power have any plans for opening new generating facilities? Anything either on the board or in process?
I'll take it a little bit, Bill, and if you want to expound on it. No concrete plans, but a number of options. Right now, Buckeye being long on capacity, so it's not something that we have to run out and do right away. But we do have some options we're looking at. One of them, probably the main thing I'd say that we're focused on, it would be at Cardinal Unit. There are three stations there, and unit number 3 is slated to close at the end of 2028, and that's due to some prior agreements between AEP and the Sierra Club, but when we took ownership of that Cardinal unit, that came along with it. So we're working on how to overcome that and keep Unit 3 open. Worst case scenario, if Unit 3 still does have to close down according to that agreement, at that same time, we'll take the capacity off of Unit 1. Right now, all the capacity from Unit 1 goes to AEP, and that date at the end of 2028, when Unit 3 shuts down, we get Unit 1's capacity. So we'll be made whole, so to speak, but still we're interested in keeping that capacity and keeping it in our hands. That's probably one of the main things that
Matt's right. The only other thing, we're constantly looking at other forms of generation. Natural gas, whether it's peaker or combined cycle plant, would be the only other thing. Buckeye's members don't need that anytime right away, and it's like incredibly expensive at the moment. So we're trying to avoid that rush for new generation and use what we have existing.
Matt, we have a question up here.
Yep.
Yes, our political action committee, I've donated for years, think it's money well spent. What percentage do we have that donate, and how do we compare to our fellow co-ops, the percentage they have as well?
Yeah, good question. Thank you for being a part of that. We have just over 700 Midwest Electric members are in our political action committee, which is roughly 7 to 8% of our members, residential members. We got Jim mentioned 11,000, but 9,000-ish residential. So about 7+% of our members belong to the program, and we're actually we're in the top 10 nationally with that. Paulding Putnam Electric, just to the north of us, they've got maybe 500 or so, Eric. We're having a joint event with them. We had one a couple years ago up in the Convoy area. We're having one this coming summer, August, at the Wassenberg Arts Center in Van Wert with Paulding Putnam, and we'll have local elected officials who will be a part of that. So yeah, that program's very important. We promote it all the time, want to continue to promote that. It's really about education. The average member in our political action committee contributes $25 a year to that program. So it's not that much. It's lobbying, and that has it can have a bad connotation, a bad reputation, but it does serve a function, it serves a purpose. If you think about it from that legislator standpoint, whether it's someone in Columbus or someone in DC, all the things they have to vote on, everything they have to know, it's really not possible for any one person to know the whole range of, whether it's from education to welfare to energy. And so this just gives us that opportunity to have those conversations. When we go to talk to our elected officials, that $25 honestly doesn't mean much to them. It's where that money is coming from. Nationwide, there's something like 35,000 electric cooperative members, directors, and employees who are in the political action program, and that's the number that gets their attention. It's grassroots, and they get it, and our members are their constituents. So it's a good program. Just encourage you to consider that.
I'd like to go back to the data centers. How many data centers are on co-ops in the state of Ohio?
I think Bill said 10. Oh. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, you're having conversation. Will that be up to vote for by the members
No.
of the co-ops, and why not? Because if we can vote people on the board, we should surely be able to vote if we want a data center on our distribution lines or not.
Yeah, I get it, but no, that would probably be problematic.
So do they get priority?
No, they don't. So for one, we don't have any that have talked. We had a couple of calls here, maybe in the last couple of years, but they were just expeditionary type calls. Like, we haven't had any follow-up conversations. So there's nothing in the works at Midwest, but there are a few that are in the process elsewhere at other co-ops. But the bottom line, all Ohio electric co-ops are really in unison on this, and we're requiring data centers to pay their own way. We've got agreements that require upfront payments before we commit to major expense, requiring data centers to cover the full cost of the power lines, equipment, and other infrastructure needed to serve their use. We're preserving our existing power generation for our current members, and as well as for new non-data center customers. So any new generation or transmission needed specifically for data centers would it'd have to be planned and built only for those customers and be paid exclusively by those customers. So this is, all the co-ops in Ohio are on the same page working together on this. And we recently approved a new data center rate for all the Ohio co-ops, specifically for those high-load data centers. And it includes credit and financial assurance requirements to reduce the financial risk. And as Bill mentioned, we're also working with the regional grid authorities, if you will, to make sure that not just us, but other utilities are also handling this in a manner that doesn't push the costs down to your average residential consumer.
Okay, so are they required to generate their own power, and we're as a backup?
That's a possibility.
They'll either generate their own power or they'll procure it in some other fashion, but it will not be part of the fleet of the co-ops that you are members of today. So,
Okay. From what I've read in the paper about the data centers, is that true that there's at least 200 in the state of Ohio? Or going?
it could be.
Okay.
One of the biggest constraints right now is transmission.
Okay.
The data centers are not going to be showing up in your neighborhood in the next.
And so why did they pick Ohio? Are other states doing the same thing too? 200 in the state or 300 or just 2 or 3 versus Ohio?
So one reason is Ohio is blessed with a robust transmission system, and we're part of PJM, so they can move the generation. That's the reason that they came
Okay.
And at this point, there's really going to be a slowdown in data centers coming online because as a nation, we just don't have excess generation at this point, nor do we have excess transmission.
I know we talk about electric, but we also have to think of what the terra firma what they're standing on because of the water that's underneath and the water that's required. We're blessed in this state to have electric and also water. And I'm dismayed from what I hear on some of these data centers and what they're doing to get water to these things to keep them cool.
They're changing how they're operating. They're using a closed loop system now because of all the pushback like what you're discussing. So in the past, I know we've had conversations for well over 5 years, and data centers just wanted to come and basically use the local attributes. Really didn't want to pay taxes, and that has changed significantly both in Ohio as well as across the nation.
Matt, I have a question up here.
Yep.
I received information I ordered it from Midwest Electric about an article in the Co-op magazine we get every month. It was talking about we as members could buy investment in solar or wind-powered generation. And we paid so much a month to buy blocks of ownership, and that would be added to our bill, if that's the way I understand it. But can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, yep.
If
so
you're
that-
not generating your own electricity, where does that money go to?
Yeah, so that's the EnviroWatts program, and that's an optional program for those who want to participate in that for an extra, I think, is it $2? $2 per block. And then that money goes to support wind and solar and biomass that Buckeye has in its portfolio. Yep. Okay. Well, thank you again for your quite good questions, very good questions. The data centers is a hot topic. At this time, we'll have Adam Johnson, the attorney, come up with the election results.
Thank you, Matt. Good evening. I've been assigned the task of announcing the election results for this year. In 2024, there was an amendment to the Code of Regulations that no longer requires a vote if a position is uncontested, which we use that for one board seat this year. So this year, we had the following candidates receiving 15 valid signatures, and those in contested races were submitted, or one contested race, were submitted for a vote to the membership, which was held June 1st. For District 1, Randy Heinel. For District 2, we had Steve Butcher and Thomas Micah. This year, the committee retained to collect, count, certify the results was East Base Communications. All ballot and election results are on file at the cooperative for a period of 1 year. Mr. Heinel is awarded his board seat by acclamation as he had no one contesting his race. And the contested race, according to the certified election results, the victor is Steve Butcher as he received the highest number of votes. These two directors will serve a term of 3 years, commencing immediately upon affirming their pledge of office. I invite Randy Heinel and Steve Butcher to come up and take their pledge of office at this time. Additionally, we would like to thank Thomas Micah for taking the time and commitment to run for office, and welcome him to run again. Okay. Please raise your right hands. Will you pledge to provide the members with energy and related services of the highest and most dependable quality at the lowest cost consistent with sound business principles? If so, please answer, I will. I will. Do you pledge to support the policies of the cooperative and dedicate yourself to understanding and applying the cooperative principles to the best of your ability? If so, please answer, I will. I will. Will you pledge to follow the laws of the state of Ohio and of the United States in carrying out your duties as director on Midwest Electric, Inc.'s behalf? If so, please answer, I will. I will. Lastly, the cooperative has a history of being a good corporate citizen in its community and to the extent possible consistent with the cooperative's core mission to seek improvement in the areas of economic, social, educational, environmental, and community development. Will you pledge to give due consideration to these concerns? If so, please answer, I will. I will. Congratulations and thank you. Back to you.
So this is the point that you've been all waiting for, the adjournment of the meeting, right? So we would ask for a motion to adjourn. Okay, we have a motion. We have a second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. And then this concludes this year's annual meeting. Please have a safe drive home. Now, our employees will now handle the scholarship and door prize drawings, and our board will now adjourn to our reorganizational meeting. Thank you again. Have a good evening.
Yeah, it's in there to get a picture. Is the winner already? No, they have to spend it. I think they're gonna do, I think there's some scholarship people there. Yeah.
No, they said that's getting that thumbs up.
All right, we're here for the drawings. There'll be a $2,000 given out after the scholarship. So I think about 12, 14 students in the area put their names in the hat. Have to be present to win, but they're all in the computer, and they're going to spin and see who wins. 21 actually this year. Madison Steinledge. Is she present? Come on down, Madison. Got a certificate for you. Now, it's $1,000. Madison will have to attend and receive a certain grade point average to get the dollars, but it's worked out so far for everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Now, meet with Keisha afterwards. She works at the office. Make sure you have the details. All right, so now we have the prize drawings. The first one's $500. Go ahead, Joel. Let's see who wins. Once again, must be present. Put that one, Paul. Daniel Kill.
Well, there we go.
There we are. Now it drops down, though. It's $100 for the next one. Nicholas Kramer. Nicholas. There you go, Taylor. Another $100 drawing. Paul Warner. Paul Warner. There he is, up in center. One other $100 drawing. Madeline Flory. Very good. Another $100 drawing. Herschel Brown III. Herschel Brown. Eddie Herschel. Raise your hand, wave it around. We'll go on. Dan Dickey. Dan Dickey. Is Dan here? We'll try again. Diane Owen. Tim Birkenstock. Tim Birkenstock. No? Mary Brockman. Mary Brockman. Now, if you know these people and they weren't here, there's Mary. If you know these people that weren't here, let them know they lost. They could have won. How many dollars they didn't get. Here's another $100. Imogene Griffith. Imogene Griffith. Did I see your hand? Karen Bacon. Karen Bacon. Willie Winter. Ooh, there's Mr. Winter. We're down to $50 drawings now, but there's 20 of them. Butch Campbell. Butch Campbell. Pass. Anthony Francina. Doug Hatfield. Doug Hatfield. Milo Luganbull. Milo Luganbull. William L. Smith. Bill Smith. Connie Howe. Oh, there's Connie. Great. Tim Knott. Tim Knott. There we go. We're on a run now. Can I win, Joel? Guggenbiller Farms, down on the end. Greg Snyder. Greg Snyder. No. Nicole Cross. I hear it. Oh, in the corner. Robert Engel. Robert Engel.
Over here?
All right. Doris Cook. Doris Cook. Kevin Boroff. Kevin Boroff. David Ingabo. David Ingabo. Randy Tebby. And Mr. Tebby. Carl Kesters. Carl Kesters. Sweet Acres. Sweet Acres. Bradley Schmergy. Brad Schmergy.
He's outside.
Benjamin Webker. Benjamin Webker. Philip Hatfield. Another Hatfield. It's Philip. Steve Schlarman.
Can't wait to tell.
Christine Stauffer. Christine Stauffer. No. James Vaughn. James Vaughn over in the corner. Michael Steinledge. Michael Steinledge. Oh, up top. Linda Fry. Linda Fry. I can't. We'll have to pass on that one. Adam Dietz. Adam Dietz. Elwood Ruff. Elwood Ruff. Jody Hamstreet. Jody Hamstreet. Dan Heitkamp. Dan Heitkamp. Andrew Brockman. Andrew Brockman. Roger Evers. Roger Evers, corner. Adam Mullenkamp. Adam Mullenkamp. Kalen Schomp. Kalen Schomp. Deborah Ritchie. Deborah Ritchie. There we go. Ivo Homan. Ivo Homan. James Schaefer. James Schaefer. Mickey Sloan. Mickey Sloan. Ruth Ann Merriman. Ruth Ann Merriman. Mark Luntz. Mark Luntz. There we go. Lee Homan. Lee Homan. Gary Fullenkamp. Gary Fullenkamp. There we go. Sandra Gessler. Sandra Gessler. Nancy Shin. Nancy Shin. Kathy Bergman. Kathy Bergman. Timothy Stroop. Timothy Stroop. Aaron Schomp. That looks familiar. Nicholas Getty. Godey. Some are tricky. Ray Hinkle. Last $50 drawing, and then there's a fern afterwards, the front center there. Taylor has the last $50. John Herman. Is there a John? Yeah, there is a John. Joel, is the fern the only thing then? No fern. It's a prized possession. Oh, I thought they were giving away stuff.